mom and dad left Grenada because of the revolution. The revolution happened in '79 and lasted till '83. The things that we can take from that moment that would actually make us move forward, we neglect. You can be pragmatic, you can be idealistic, or you can be both. Like the fact that they didn't come off the EC dollar was pragmatic. The fact that they wanted to chart their own political course in terms of dealing with communism or socialism, which is really where they were going, not communist, that was idealistic. Mixing the two of them together may have worked if we didn't make so many mistakes along the way. However, there is no revolution in the history of mankind that didn't make mistakes. If we want change and we don't expect mistakes, then we don't want change. So there isn't anything on Grenada's beach that can't be utilized by Grenadians. And Grenada doesn't have private beaches. So there's no one that can say, you can't go on this beach. As a matter of fact, by law, they have to make sure there's a path to get to the beach, which is very unique. That's why I said we are paradise. We have paradise. We have no poisonous insects, no man-eating reptiles or mammals. I've never heard of a shark attack. It doesn't snow, it doesn't freeze. The beaches is accessible to everyone and their mama. And every green thing is edible, wearable, and medicinal. Like that's senna right there. Right here, that's senna. That's a laxative. So you got an expensive almond, a laxative, and coconut water to wash it down. What's that? 10 feet? Yeah, I'm good. They could stay in the nice, shiny house on the hill. I'll stay in paradise. Wear my uniform is my pajamas. I love my country. So when Ivan hit, I ended up overnighting in Trinidad, and that was crazy as hell. Because I didn't know Trinidad. So I'm from Grenada. We built differently here. So when I leave my house here, I don't go out thinking about, if I'm gonna get robbed or waiting for my car or is the parking lot safe. So Trinidad can get violent really fast. Grenada, we're not very violent with each other like that. On the whole, it's relatively safe as hell out here. And I'm knock wood, I hope it stays that way. I've seen and read and heard of some stories from Trinidad that I'm like, oh my God, if I knew that before I got there, I wouldn't have behaved the way I did. I jumped in someone's car randomly in like 11 o'clock at night, and we take off for like 30 minutes just driving in the dark. We get to this like shack, the man gives me food, tells me he heard about the hurricane and Grenadians is like family to Trinidad and this and that. I'm like, oh, thanks, welcome home. And then drops me back. And when I came back to Grenada, I tell people here and they're like, you probably shouldn't have done that. And then they tell me all the scary stories of what can happen over there. I was like, oh, that's not the place I went. Trinidad is awesome. In Trinidad, just let me know, my experience with y'all was, loved it. If you would treat me like that every time I come to Trinidad, I might move, okay? But it was freaking awesome. We talk a good game, but I don't think we really love ourselves, each other, and our country the way we talk it. Country wouldn't look this way. We claim to have a tourist nation, and only about, if 20% of the island has sidewalks, that's a lot. If you really care about you and your people and your island, one, you'd put sidewalks so your people could walk around it. Two, to take advantage of these foreign dollars that come ashore, you'd want sidewalk because it's a really beautiful place to walk around. When you walk here, you could smell everything, taste everything, and touch everything without having to worry so much about you dying. Why wouldn't you do that? Especially in this environment where we're claiming to push green, eco-friendly things. People don't want to be stuck in a bus driving around. They want to meet the local shop owners. They want to walk around and smell, the tree. They want to, as you say, touch an almond or touch a sea grape. But most of the people that come here will never get this experience because they're stuck in some bus or some building. So to me, if we were really proud of that, we'd want to get them actually tangibly touching these things and feeling these things, because then they can take that home. I think we're ashamed. I don't think we're proud of ourselves and what we have. Us Grenadians don't seem to be very proud of being Grenadian and what Grenada is. How many restaurants have you been into that serve oil lamp? You know how many people I've had ask me if we go apples? And I'm like, what you mean if we go apples? Why? Everywhere they go, they get an apple and a salad. Why you putting apples in salads and we have cashew? To me, if we're really proud of what we had and what we are, we'd be sharing it with the outside world because that's what they're coming for. The thousands of people coming off the cruise ship ain't coming here to go to KFC, man. What they would like to taste is what we have. Will they like it? Maybe, maybe not. But they will appreciate the opportunity to at least experience it because that's what I'm paying all these thousands of dollars for, an experience. I'm not paying to leave Brooklyn to come to the Caribbean to experience Brooklyn. Catholic and Anglican was the predominant religions here when I grew up. Things like Pentecostal and things, Seventh-day Adventists, that came in after, which now, those religions seem to be the more predominant ones here. I identify as a Rasta person. And the thing that drew me to Rastafari was the fact that I could be around people, profess to not be judgmental, profess to not judge you, even though the church judge you, your family judge you. And the other part of that was to see all these confident, militant men being men was very, very attractive to a young boy. And now you see a lot of men that express no confidence about themselves. I'm not talking about ego. I'm not talking about arrogance or conceit. I'm talking about confidence. Shoulders back, head up, looking people in the face. Confidence. Most men don't do that no more. So seeing black men, I was like, wow, I could do that? Wait, we could be like that? Hell yeah, I want to be like that. That's awesome. So as I'm growing up and got out of high school and I started growing my locks because now I can make my own decisions, I realized there were some things inherent in there that didn't make sense to me either though. I'm finding out there's different sects of Rastafari, different houses or mansions or orders of Rastafari. And to me, that makes no sense whatsoever. One Rastafari. One aim, one destiny, one goal, that's it. To see Rastafari dissected along the same lines as the church is divisive, not Rastafari. If Rastafari today has as much divisions as the church, what's the difference between Rastafari and the church? As you were born, you was a Rasta. Do you need to prove to anybody what kind of quality of Rasta you are? I don't think so. I think you just need to be a Rasta, and that's it. When I go to certain Rasta gatherings, if they're droning on too long with what I call is the churchiness of it, not the spiritualness of it, the churchiness of it, I gotta move. I can't do all this churchiness. Unless that churchiness leads us to a better place in terms of working together, building better communities, I don't know why we churching it. The church gets richer, but I haven't seen us getting richer off the church. Is there a big community of Rastafari in Grenada? My answer would be yes, it seems that way. However, if they don't act in concert, is there really a big community? The Muslim community here, they act in concert to gain privileges and rights, to gain the benefits they need and want. Women's groups, the churches, all of them seem to behave in concert when they need to. Hence, even up to today, Rastafari is still illegal in Grenada. There's only one order of Rastafari that's legally recognized by law in Grenada, and that's 12 tribes. When Rastafari as a whole should be recognized in Grenada because it's the only other Afrocentric religion recognized by the UN other than spiritual baptism. And Grenada is a 99% black country, yet Mormonism is legally recognized here and Rastafari is not. That's not the fault or the responsibility of the state. That is the responsibility of the Rasta community. What we misunderstand is what is actually the government of a country. So most people think the administration of a country is the government. The administration of a country is just that, the administration. However, the government of any country is we the people. At the same time, when we the people behave as if the few people we selected and chose to run our affairs are the owners of said affairs, why should they behave any differently? I keep getting a raise, I treat you like crap, you keep giving me a raise, why should I change my behavior? So until we the people change, the change we want to see will never happen. They don't have to change. We keep re-electing them, so why should they? We have given them no incentive and no reason to change. Rastafari wanting to stand alone, and when we truly look at Rastafari as a thing, we'd realize even in the name Rastafari, head creator, it implies leadership. If His Imperial Majesty is our guide and the leader, His Majesty didn't sit in Ethiopia and hope Ethiopia changed. He didn't pray for Ethiopia to come out the Stone Age. He didn't wish for people to come in and help Ethiopia. He went out and brought them people into Ethiopia, the best of them, to build railroads, airports, universities, all of these things to modernize Ethiopia. So if we say we're following His Majesty, but we don't want to lead, that's antithetical to Rastafari. If we say we're following His Majesty, but we don't want to get involved in the governments around us, which His Majesty specifically said, get involved in the system that you're in and master it. Because if you can master that system, you can go anywhere. But if you don't understand the system that you're in, what would you do in Africa other than be a burden? I've heard people say, oh, Fireborn government, Rastafari is a government unto himself. And I'm like, you just explained to a government that you're a terrorist organization. Because if you're in a country that's governed by a government, and you say you don't get involved in that government, but you're a government unto your own, that's prototypical terrorism. So do you want to be like put in jail and extradited? Or do you want to stop behaving like 5-year-old children and put on our big boy pants and get involved in this participatory government that we claim to wanted? Hence the reason His Majesty stepped off the throne in the first place. Remember, His Majesty was an emperor, a king. Ethiopia has democratically elected leaders right now because that's what the people wanted. And His Majesty said, if the people want democracy, I am for democracy. Now we have a system where we can participate. There's no king, there's no emperor, there's no dictator. And the one thing we don't do is participate in our participatory government. I'm confused. Because we claim we want a say in the running of things. Well, here we go. If this was like the American system, I'd have probably run for office. Because individually, you can actually make a difference in that system. In the Westminster system, it's about the party winning. And being part of the party, all we need to do is move you to the side and ignore you. Even though you're part of the party, you still get nothing done. It would be like the record companies seeing an artist that can challenge them, signing said artist, and just housing all his work. Because once I sign you, you're my property now. You see what I mean? And I can do what I want. That's the party system. Once you're in the party, they can control what you do and when you do it. You can be pragmatic, you can be idealistic, or you can be both. If we want change and we don't expect mistakes, then we don't want change. Shoulders back, head up, looking people in the face. Most men don't do that no more. The administration of a country is just that, the administration. However, the government of any country is we, the people. And the one thing we don't do is participate in our participatory government.